know, Mr. Issa just made reference to how important it is for us to display our commitment to the Constitution and to commit to defend it aggressively. So I'd like to offer an amendment to the amendment, adding in the second paragraph where the chair may designate an individual to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, to add the following language. Provided, however, the pledge shall not be led by an individual who supported an insurrection against the government of the United States in any way. Because I think if we adopt this amendment, then we will be truthful in representing that stating this pledge is an affirmation of your defense of democracy and the Constitution. It's hard to take that claim seriously if, in fact, an individual who in any way supported an insurrection against the government of the United States is allowed to lead the pledge. So I would ask Mr. Gates to accept this friendly amendment, and I look forward to supporting it.
My concern would be if your definition of an insurrection is objecting to electors, then there would be many Democrats on the committee that wouldn't be eligible to lead the pledge, since so many
That's not my definition of an insurrection.
The last Republican president to get sworn in absent Democrat objectors was George Herbert Walker Bush.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Gates, I will allow the chairman to determine whether or not someone has participated in insurrection in the United States. I think this language is important.
Would the gentleman further yield?
I'm asking Mr. Gates, will you now accept the amendment?
Well, I'm concerned that you may be disqualifying too many of your own members, Mr. Cicilline.
I'm not concerned about that at all. Then agree to the amendment. Let's make this real. If you want to give someone the right to stand before the House Judiciary Committee and lead the Pledge of Allegiance, at a bare minimum, let's guarantee that that person has not participated or supported or in any way helped an overthrow of the government of the United States.
Would the gentleman
yield?
yield?
It's like a simple proposition.
And the reason why Mr. and Mrs. Wells, what happened to Tyree is so personal to me is that 5 black men that wouldn't have had a job in the police department would not ever be thought of to be in an elite squad. In the city that Dr. King lost his life, not far away from that balcony, you beat a brother to death. There's nothing more insulting and offensive to those of us that fight to open doors, that you walk through those doors and act like the folks we had to fight for to get you through them doors. You didn't get on the police department by yourself. The police chief didn't get there by herself. People had to march and go to jail, and some lost their lives to open the doors for you. And how dare you act like that sacrifice was enough for nothing? You ain't in no New England state, you in Tennessee, where we had to fight for you. And you take that position?
Now, it's being compared to finding a needle in a haystack, but imagine if that needle were highly radioactive. Well, search crews scanning a remote highway in Australia actually managed to find this tiny radioactive capsule after it was missing for 6 days. It's the size of a small coin and appears to have fallen off the back of a transport truck. Crews looking for it combed an area roughly the length of the UK.
When you consider the scope of the research area, locating this object was a monumental challenge. The search groups have quite literally found the needle in the haystack.
CNN correspondent Mark Stewart joins us live from Hong Kong. Great news, an extraordinary effort as well in this search.
Indeed, Max, this story is just so intriguing for some reason. Let me give you some context. This is a Hong Kong coin. It's very similar in size to a U.S. dime. It is that small. I want to make sure you can see it here at the skyline. But basically, this capsule that was found is used for mining. Here's the history. The capsule was discovered about 6 days after it went missing, likely falling off a truck. Now, eventually it was found off the side of a road by crews who were using special radiation detection equipment. It was not found too far from the Rio Tinto mine, suggesting it fell off the truck soon as it left. But the potential search area for this was enormous, vast. You mentioned the size of the UK. I believe we're talking about a distance here longer than the California coastline. A perimeter was set up, and so now the goal is to transport this capsule in a lead container to the health department, to a facility they have in Perth. But this was very concerning because human exposure could cause skin burns, radiation sickness, even a risk of cancer in some cases. And just 24 hours ago, authorities felt that the chance of finding it was very slim. Now, Max, they have to determine how this happened in the first place, how it fell off that truck likely.
OK, Mark Stewart, it's fascinating. Thank you.
We have breaking news now from Delaware. President Biden's attorneys have put out a statement saying no documents with classified markings were found during the FBI's search at the president's Rehoboth Beach house. Let's bring in NBC Chief White House Correspondent Kristen Welker. Is this an indication, Kristen, that they are going to respond in real time on some of these issues after being slow to publicly report things up until now?
It certainly could be an indication of that, Andrea. That's not yet entirely clear, but what we do know is that the White House has come under a lot of scrutiny and, frankly, bipartisan criticism for not being more forthcoming about some of these developments as it relates to the president's handling of classified documents. For example, we learned earlier this week that his think tank here in Washington was searched in mid-November, and that was a story that broke in the news media instead of being divulged by the White House. Let me read you this latest statement from Bob Bauer, who is the president's personal attorney, about this latest search, which we did learn about in real time. He says the DOJ's planned search of the president's Rehoboth residences, conducted in coordination and cooperation with the president's attorneys, has concluded. The search was conducted from 8:30 a.m. to noon. No documents with classified markings were found. Consistent with the process in Wilmington, the DOJ took for further review some materials and handwritten notes that appear to relate to his time as vice president. So that is the update about this latest search. Again, we noted his think tank was searched here in Washington, as well as his Wilmington home, where FBI agents did discover some classified documents. Now, that is the legal matter. And of course, there's a special counsel investigation that is underway. Politically speaking, and the White House has tried to make a real distinction between President Biden's handling of classified documents and former President Trump, who did not turn over classified documents willfully. And so his Mar-a-Lago estate was searched under a subpoena. Politically speaking, though, Andrea, our latest polling shows that the American public gives them both low marks for their handling of this matter. So politically speaking, it's really a wash. All of that is the backdrop as the president gets ready to sit down to meet face to face with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. They're going to address the debt limit. And of course, his State of the Union address is looming for next week, Andrea. So a lot going on here.
And briefly, Kristen, they also acknowledge that the FBI did take some other notes and papers of the former vice president's tenure, as they did in his Wilmington home as well, for further study.
That's absolutely right. And I think what is not clear, and I'll just read that part of the statement again, where Bob Bauer says the DOJ took for further review some materials and handwritten notes that appear to relate to his time as vice president. We know that some of the other documents that have been taken from the other two locations that were searched were notebooks as well that appear to relate to his time as serving as vice president. It was not clear exactly what the FBI was searching for in this latest search, whether they had specific materials in mind or if they were just going in to make sure that they were dotting every I and crossing every T. But again, the big headline here is that, according to Bob Bauer, there were no classified documents that were recovered in this latest search, Andrea.
Next, Pope Francis has celebrated Mass in Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo, on the first leg of his trip to Africa. Now, the country is the continent's most Catholic nation. Hundreds of thousands of people believed to have gathered at the airport to hear the Pope speak. And delivering his homily, he urged Christians engaged in conflict in the war-torn country to lay down their arms. Our religion editor, Aline McBool, is there and sent this update. Well, it is a huge crowd that has turned out here for this papal mass at Kinshasa Airport. You can see the schoolgirls in a row here who've been dancing for maybe the last couple of hours to first welcome the Pope and then throughout this mass. But let me give you a sense of just the sheer numbers. If you take a look back there, it is estimated that about 1.5 million people have come out here in what is the 6th most populous Catholic nation in the world, the 6th highest number of Catholics of any nation in the world. The Pope has said that the Democratic Republic of Congo and Africa has a very special place in his heart, and even though he's got mobility problems that led to him cancelling this visit a year ago, it's clear it was high on his priority list to come back. He's already given one speech since he's been here where he condemned the outside world for the plunder of this nation over centuries. He's also condemned the violence that continues here that has led to nearly 7 million people being killed in conflict over resources over just the last 30 years.